Now that Frieren's learning about love, we gotta teach her about hate. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 15 of Frieren. And last time, was all about love. Just really going through the obvious love that Fern and Stark have for each other, but also how Frieren is kind of coming to realize the feelings that she had for Himmel and the obvious feelings Himmel had for her. It's really interesting. Um, and we had the entire thing with the ring and the matching symbol with the was it a bracelet that Fern got last time from Stark for her birthday and all. Um, just a fun, simplistic episode, but there is something I want to talk about before we get this going. So, I saw a post on social media of someone saying the elf guy, I don't remember his name, the buff hot elf guy from a couple episodes back. Um they were saying like because of the way he kind of looked at like Frieren and spoke to her and everything and kind of like viewed her as being younger. And yeah, she's very much implied to be much younger than him. But they were using that as like evidence to support the idea that Frieren and because of her personality is like in elf culture a literal child. Like they're trying to say that Frieren is like the equivalent of, I kid you not, a 6 to 8 year old. Which is like one of the fucking stupidest things I've heard. I wanted to talk about this because it was so ridiculously brain dead. It's like, at the absolute least, I feel like Frieren is the equivalent of like young 20s. Like, yeah, she's definitely younger. I would say the other elf might have been like the equivalent of like 40s or 50s. Definitely notably younger than him. Um, but to try and like say she's like 6 to 8 years old equivalents is fucking stupid. And some of their arguments were like, oh, Fern has to take care of her like a mother. It's like, bitch, Frieren is Fern's mother. And it's like that relationship is very obvious between them too. And trying to use like Frieren's personality, it's like, yeah, Frieren has a bit of a goofy personality. She is very absent-minded at times. She has a very simplistic understanding of people, but that's because of her. That's like one, adults can be goofy, adults can be silly, adults can have like kind of happy-go-lucky personalities and not want to, I don't know, clean their room or stuff like that or fix up their hair. Like, that's perfectly reasonable for an adult. We have to, like, destroy this mentality. And yes, I mean destroy it. We have to destroy this mentality that adults have to be super serious and focused and, like, just hyper put together at all times. Because one, it's unrealistic. No adult is like that. I have never seen a single adult in my life that is like that. And two, it's not healthy to even strive for that. Because you would be holding back and restricting so much of yourself, so much human emotion, that it would so tear away at you mentally and emotionally that it would lead to severe mental health problems. Or at least could lead to that. It's not healthy to restrict any emotion. People talk about like it's not healthy to hold in your anger, but it's not healthy to hold in anything. whether it be happiness or sorrow or anything like that. You have to let your emotions out. You have to be honest. That's why the entire like thing about like men can't be emotional has destroyed generations of men. It's absolutely like mentally and emotionally destroyed them. And that's why in modern day we've started to do away with that belief. And like we have like even like really tough, really like strong like athletes on TV, like in pro wrestling and stuff, even making a point of making statements on show saying men can cry, let men express emotion because it's healthy. The problem with Frieren here is that that is her problem. She can't express emotion very well. Frieren isn't like the equivalent of a child. She's just fucking autistic. Like, seriously. Frieren is fucking autistic as hell. Like there's anime characters and cartoon characters where it's like it's just super obvious. Whether it's intended or not specifically, it's very obvious. It's like this character is like very much representing the kind of stuff I as an autistic person experience. Frieren has trouble reading people. A lot of trouble reading people. She a lot of the time can't tell like when someone is, you know, being nice to her or flirting with her, etc., etc. I'm the same way. I am exactly the same way. She's sometimes goofy even when it's like not necessarily the right time to be goofy. She's kind of a little gremlin for certain things. There's some things that just kind of excite her a little bit. She hyper fixates like crazy when it comes to magic and learning about magic. It's like, come on. She is like the textbook fucking definition of autistic. And I say that with absolute love. I'm not like saying that as an insult like some assholes out there would. Again, I am autistic. I see a lot of myself in her. Not everything, of course, but a lot of myself. And Frieren is very much an adult. You can very much tell. So this entire argument I saw like just completely shocked and confused me that anybody can read the situation like that. Just because this other guy like made note of her being so much younger. It's like that is just dumb. And also elves in general, like in any kind of fantasy media, it's like you can't really make that comparison between like elf age and human age because it doesn't work like that. It's just not really comparable. And in the end, just using basic logic and like like comprehension of what you're watching, there is no way you can look at Frieren and think she is like not an adult. Nothing about her reads as being younger than an adult. It's the wildest, wackest opinion on this show I have seen. It is so, like, absolutely insane. So sorry about ranting about that for a bit here. It's just I kind of needed to get that off my chest, and I mean, where else would I do so with it? It just like it was so it wasn't even anger inducing. It was just so confusing. I've like I'm not gonna tell someone they're wrong for like interpreting something a certain way, but I just don't understand how someone can interpret something that way. Something like this that way. It makes no sense and just honestly goes against everything I've watched here. But I'm just gonna leave it there. It's just never made sense to me. I'm leaving it at that. And honestly, I'll just say this now. Like, if you wanted to make the comparison, though, I think trying to compare with human ages is still like a foolish thing to do. I would actually say Frieren is more than likely in her 30s equivalents, maybe even upwards of early 40s. It's just, again, you can't really make that comparison super well because of how like elf ages work. It's like eventually you'll just get like, oh, this person is equivalent of 250 because they happen to be like what, 2,000 years old. It's like, no, it's like you see how that just stops working after a certain point. I need to stop with this rambling. It just, it does not work. But either way, either way, um, let's just get into this episode and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. And so we're back with another episode that has dual plots. There's the first plot and the second plot kind of going back to back through this episode, which sometimes at this point we get, sometimes we don't. It's just a matter of like kind of randomness if we're going to. But let's start with the first plot. So the first plot focuses on Sign. We get to really see some character work with him. They come upon a village where everyone is cursed to sleep. And the curse soon starts affecting their party as well. Sign, being a priest, is able to work with curses. He has a natural resistance, but also he has knowledge about how to handle them. So, as they go around the village to see what's going on, he realizes the curse is pretty complex and it's just easier to go and find the source, which he has already discovered and located. So, Stark is the first to fall asleep, followed on their journey to find the source by Fern. And Frieren and him decide to leave them, protected by some magic against a tree. In the meantime, Frieren ends up falling asleep right as they're about to reach the source, the monster that's causing it. But she tells him before she does, wake me up when, when the monster is there. She knows at this point that his waking spell will only work for about 5 seconds. So she's already aware of what she'll have to do once she is woken up. He takes her the rest of the way and does come upon the monster. And he tries to take it on at first on his own. He doesn't want to wake her up. He doesn't feel like 5 seconds will be enough. But he sees that his spell is not only stopped but reflected, meaning that it could cause problems, as well as just he really isn't a combative type party member, so he's not the best person to handle this in the first place. But he nonetheless doesn't want to wake up Frieren because he's worried that her magic, being as strong as it is, would cause even more problems if it's deflected. But then he remembers Hyder's words. He remembers when Hyder visited the village and was talking to him and his friend. And he remembers Hyder telling him about Frieren and about, like, how it's not really about trusting anything more than her words. If she says she's going to do something, she's going to do it. And that's all you need to believe in. And she told him before she fell asleep, it's like, wake me up. I will defeat this thing no matter what. So he decides to trust in that. He wakes her up, and like as he's explaining it, before he even has a chance to finish his sentence, she just fires off her attack and kills it. She comprehended the situation in no time flat, knew exactly what she needed to do, and handled it. Like, he didn't even need to say anything. She just figured it out instantly. And of course, it worked. Everyone woke up, and the monster was killed. So, yeah. Very successful, but it shows that, like, he has to learn to grow in terms of how to work with this party. And it shows just even more how this is, like, Frieren's hyperfixation. It's like, this is something that she does not need to, like, have explained to her. She gets it, like, right away. Fighting monsters and demons, using magic, it's like, that's her shit. Like, she's on it. Now, the second portion of this features them reaching a town called Vigo or something like that. And as they're arriving, an aristocrat comes out of a carriage and starts sizing up Stark. They're brought back to his mansion, and it's revealed that his son had died in battle, and that they've been hiding it from the people until they can get their armies set up again, because they want to keep morale up for obvious reasons. And so he wants Stark, because Stark is the spitting image of his son, to pretend to be him for a short time. So they're there for about 3 months. We actually got that time frame shown, because there was the ball that was 3 months from when they arrived, and we see them at the ball. And Stark and even Fern as well get drilled in some etiquette lessons, and Stark gets to talk to this guy. He has another son, and Stark is worried at first that he's not going to treat the younger son as well because of, Stark's experience with that. But he actually treats his son fairly well. It's like he believes in him, he trusts in him, he knows he's going to be a great warrior and, just a great heir. And he even tells him that. He doesn't, like, hide that from him. It's clear that his biggest issue is that he hasn't been letting himself grieve properly. He's been so dedicated to following his late son's final wish that he hasn't been truly, like, taking in the fact that his son died. And he's trying to do best for his city. He's trying to do best for his people, but it's hard. Especially when the last interaction he actually had with his son was an argument where he said some regrettable things. And of course, again, Stark, like, thinks back to his own family in this. He thinks back to how his father, who was, very neglectful and kind of terrible towards him, his older brother, who he adored and who was amazing towards him, but also to his adopted father. And again, I think it's the first time he's ever called him his adopted father. But also, Frieren gets called mommy multiple times in this, which is fantastic. Because it's like, yeah, that is absolutely the relationship here. Like, she is, like, kind of acting as a mother figure to both Fern and Stark. Fern, because of obvious reasons, with her not really knowing her parents due to being a war orphan, and, her taking care of Fern for years now, and really training her up for even longer, for years before that. And Stark, because he doesn't have any family. His family's gone. To his knowledge, all of them are dead. I mean, we don't know that for sure, but to his knowledge. And while he had his adopted father, it's like he definitely has taken to Frieren as sort of a mother figure to him. And this, you know, this is something that Frieren herself clearly, like, is fine with. She never, like, complains about being, like, referred to by as mommy by this guy. Like, it's never a point of contention or anything. They just kind of, like, accept that that's the case. And I think that's pretty neat. But in the end, like, Stark does end up having, like, a heart to heart with this guy, with this general, and you know, it ends up going pretty well. And we see that he's working more with his younger son, who's, you know, trying his best. And it's just a really interesting episode that touches on, like, kind of the complexities of this kind of situation, but also relationships. Also, Stark and Fern dancing was super cute. Like, that was just super cute. Just continuing to push that ship. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one quite a lot. But we're only, like, I think a couple episodes away from when this arc ends. I think episode 17 is the last one. So I'm gonna make sure on that, but next week might be our last one for now. Because like I said, after we finish this arc, I am going to take one more break just because there's like 28 episodes of this series. I do want to take one more break before we continue on. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think, like, again, I think it's episode 17. I'll make absolutely sure. But next week, if it is, will be more than likely the last two episodes. And we'll just kind of see what ends up going from there. If it's not, then next week will just be one episode. We'll see. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.